It's Monday the 8th of July and welcome to another Malvern Monday, where today I'll be talking about how to run the fastest that you can. That's right folks, having had a weekend of masters racing, I'm going to talk you through as I'm walking around the Malverns. Yes, just getting off at Great Malvern train station. I'll take you around the Malverns and talk about some key items that I believe would be helpful in terms of how we can run the fastest that we can at whatever distances we choose to do. So today I'm at the start of the Worcestershire Beacon race, so I'm going to walk the early section of that part here around the Malverns whilst discussing with you speed. Yes, running the fastest we can. Now speed is relative, yeah. What might be fast for one person is slow for another. It doesn't really matter. What I'm going to talk about is how we can, if we want to be, because some people aren't looking to run the fast as they can, they just want to go out and do whatever. That's perfectly fine. But I know a lot of you follow my channel with the need for speed, yes. And following yesterday's England Masters qualifying race, which was quite a challenging race, yeah, the Great North 10K, yeah. Undulating, hilly, hot, whatever you want to call it. It was a tough route, but we're all racing each other, so we're all doing the same race. But certainly at masters level, and I think even for the young elite with Paris coming up, what I'm going to talk about is we can discuss and debate and argue about it, but you know, we often have to accept Mother Nature and go with it, and that's what I'm going to talk about today in terms of being specialists at certain distances. Whilst we may get quicker at all distances as a beginner, certainly for the first 5-10 years we're going to be getting quicker at all distances, but when we want to really get good at a particular distance, we might have to sacrifice other distances, and that's what I'll go into a bit more detail now as we climb up the wonderful Malvern Hills. As I was saying, it's all about specialising at certain distances, and I'll talk about masters shortly, but I'll go on to the here and the now, which is the Paris Olympics that is coming up. Now there's always going to be exceptional individuals, but as the word implies, they are the exception, not the norm, yeah. So whilst it's inspirational, motivation and all that jazz, when you see athletes like Jakob Ingebrigtsen doing 1500 meters, 5000 meters, I don't think he competes at 10,000 meters, and I don't think he competes at 800 meters. So those races are all completely different. Now whilst we can compete and be thereabouts, as in within a few seconds, to win a race it can be hundredths of a second, yeah. And if you're not within those hundredths of a second, that could be the difference between first place and fourth place. Yeah, so looking at Paris, and I look at the British athletes that we've got, Josh Kerr and Jake Whiteman, both going for different distances. Yeah, now I don't know if Josh is going for 800 meters, but I know Jake Whiteman has said he's been selected for 800 meters. So Jake has beaten Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the 1500 or 1 mile race, and also Josh Kerr has beaten Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the World Championships at the mile or 1500 meters. Yep, I know, give or take 100 meters. But yeah, so they've both beaten Jakob Ingebrigtsen at what would be Jakob's shorter distance, but when it comes to 5000 meters, there's no denying he is up there. Jakob is the best at 5000 meters, but it's touch and go competing at the shorter distances. So even for these guys who are elites, at the youngest, the most prime, they are specialising at distances. You won't see any of those three running 10Ks, half marathons. As I say, correct me if I'm wrong, Jakob may be having a go at 10K, but I don't think that's his race distance. He might compete at it, but top three, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but they most certainly won't be doing half marathons and marathons. They won't be able to compete at those distances, because if they were doing those distances, they wouldn't be able to run fast and compete for gold medals at 800 and 1500 meters. Yep, that ain't gonna happen. So there's my example of the younger ones. Let's move on to masters. Just as we're getting to St Anne's Well here in the Malverns, let's touch on Masters racing and wanting to be the fastest that we can. Again, similar to the young guys, there's going to be some Masters athletes who are exceptional, outstanding. I think sometimes, you know, qualifying at different distances for England Masters is almost, for some people, they seem to think it's a given. Believe you me, it's not. Now, I was fortunate enough last year where I did qualify for all 3 distances listed as qualifiers: 10k, half marathon and marathon. And within a 5-week, 6-week period, I managed to race 3 races at those distances and qualify at Masters level for all 3. That is the exception, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah, but doing that again this year is a big ask, because whilst I'm getting older into my age group, there's other people coming to my age group and they're quicker. So qualifying makes it more difficult. Yeah, we only have a certain window of opportunity to qualify fast at those distances. Now, that is not to say that as a Masters runner we can still run fast times. As I said before, fast is relative. So a 40-minute 10k for someone is super fast. A 50-minute, 60-minute, an hour and 10 minutes for someone else is super fast as well. So, but to win and to come in those times, as I approach a outdoor tree cutting thing, so I better finish this little bit now before I go through the noisy section. Yes, you can't beat a nice calm walk around the Malvern Hills, can you? Yeah, so my point there is, yes, we can run quicker. Yeah, don't get me wrong on that. Yes, we can all run quicker, but to run fast, super fast at certain distances, that takes a specialist thing. And yes, as I said, even if we take up running in our 50s like I did, we're going to get quicker at all distances. You know, running 100 miles will make us quick at running those longer distances, but believe you me, focusing on the shorter distances does make us that bit quicker at those distances. Make sense? Let's continue with our trek around the Malvern. I think that's what you call perfect timing coming down that path, because he's cut through what would have been a very overgrown path. Anyway, let's continue. Nice steep bits. So what do you think, guys? Leave it in the comments below of your thoughts and views on this as well, as I continue my trek around the Malverns. And yes, it was quite fortuitous that that chap had been cutting back the hedgerow, because I don't think I would have been able to walk through that path. But as I'm heading through, as I mentioned, this is just the first part of the Worcestershire Beacon race, and I'm thinking, OMG, OMG. Some of the terrain, not just the quality of the surface, but the inclines, short sharp hills, a bit like the Malvern Joggers 10k, but this is like taking it to another level, absolutely another level. So I'm going to continue on my walk, and let's take you down to the finish area of this race. As I arrive back to Rosebank Gardens, the start and finish, this is now the finish of the Worcestershire Beacon race, and I've only done a very short part of that race, and oh boy, what a challenging course that is. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video, found it useful, informative in some way, maybe even mildly entertained you. If it did, then please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz, hit the alarm bell, yada yada yada. Yeah, I very much enjoy my running, and I'd like you to share in that joy of running with me, and I'll see you all very soon. So yeah, keep an eye out. I don't know how I've got on with the England Masters qualifier, but let's see what the results show. See you all soon. Love you lots. Bye bye bye.